sure if I was going to do this because it was late. But whatever, you know, that's how life is for me. If I don't take advantage of it, I lose out. And so I don't want to lose out. It's 25 years since my dad killed himself. I'm going to read this, and I'm actually going to not use the, I'm just not going to use the quote, because I don't like who's being quoted. So like I said, I'm going to do it my way. And I'm going to use a quote from a mom whose son committed suicide. Her son was 20 years old. And she's been healing from his loss. So, yeah, here we go. We need to work hard not to be ashamed or embarrassed by the way our children die. Our children had an illness just like cancer or any other disease. There's no need to hide it. As survivors of suicide loss, we learn to survive and live a fulfilling, although different life than what we had expected. My hope is that you can use some of the ideas I've shared to help you find your own way forward. So, I'm going to read and then from the book, and then I'm going to go ahead and chat with you. The dilemmas of people living in extreme poverty fall into a different category in the Maslow hierarchy of needs than those faced by someone stressed out about overtime and mortgage payments. Some of us have traveled and seen real suffering for ourselves. Few of us stayed to help, and fewer still traded in our creature comforts for lives of servitude. So when we consider how this quote applies to each of our lives, it is not without gratitude and a pause for thought that addiction and the emotional hardships of recovery, at their worst, are privileged problems. Yes, we can die from emotional bankruptcy, 40 floors up, looking down on Vegas. Our problems are very real, but our upside is more than most earthlings can dare contemplate. Human suffering has some constants that transcend environment. We look back at our early days and see how our bitching about money troubles and other shortfalls were surface wounds. Below the surface of our chaotic lives was greater fear. The fear of being unwanted, unloved, and forgotten. We lived with walls to keep people out. We also feared that we didn't matter to the same people we were trying to keep out. In our self-pity, we felt entitled and manipulated others. We drove people even further away, regardless of our neighborhoods. We created our own ghettos of despair. We could easily have died there. Many do. Whether we are living the good life now or barely seeing the possibility through the fog, we have opportunities for better lives. Yes, we have problems, but we have choices that many people dare not dream of. What is important to me today? What do I have to be grateful for today? So, fear of being unwanted, unloved, and forgotten. When my dad talked with me on one dark night, confessing that he had started smoking again, it was in the garage, and he was in fear because he didn't want to have to be disfellowshipped a second time. And I could tell he didn't want to be announced. He didn't want to be away from his family and friends and people, knowing that he did something that caused the disfellowshipping. It was hard, and he did keep people out, right? He would keep people out. And he at times was manipulating, right? And he would drive people away. My dad had everything that he could possibly have wanted when he committed suicide. He had his house close to paid off. He had probably maybe 2 more payments in Orange County, California. That is unheard of. He had just lost his job, and he was having a difficult time with that. But he easily could have gotten a different one. Maybe not as much money, but he still would have survived and been quite comfortable. So in a lot of ways, he looked like he had a good life. From far away, it was perfect, actually, almost as perfect as you could possibly imagine. He had difficulties. He was an alcoholic, but he still was able to be functional to an extent. He was obviously suffering. And so it's been 25 years since my dad has been gone. He missed a lot. I think that I'm grateful that I've lived 1 year more than my dad. Last year was 52. My dad was 52 when he committed suicide. And he missed out on seeing my children, or being born. He missed out on 2 of my kids. He didn't get an opportunity to see my beautiful children. He didn't get an opportunity to just participate in life and what it has in store. Even the difficult times, the painful times. I miss him. So I wanted to share with you that we're very limited as human beings to be able to live here on the earth and stay with people that we care about and that we love. And in one fleeting moment, we could not have them, the people that we love, with us anymore. And for people that suffer inside a cult and their children commit suicide, I know it was hard for me when my dad committed suicide. It was almost impossible to talk to Jehovah's Witnesses because they just didn't understand. And these were topics. Suicide isn't a topic that we talk about very often. It's always about the future and the possibilities of seeing our loved ones again. And our imagination takes us in that area of what we believe, what we are going to see in the future. It's imagination, because there's nothing real that we can actually point to and say, yeah, well, it's right there. No, it's all in our heads. So it's hard for people to express themselves, especially if they have any sort of questions. And in our cult as Jehovah's Witnesses, questioning meant that you possibly were talking to someone you shouldn't have been talking to. So this is coming from a mom. As I read earlier, she is expressing the importance of not being ashamed or embarrassed, and how there are 15 things that she encourages. And I'll try and put a link at the bottom and you can read it fully, but I'll just briefly go over the 15 things. Number 1, you're not alone. You may think that as a parent whose child took his or her life, you are on another planet all by yourself. But there are many parents walking the same road. Number 2, get the help you need. Number 3, let your friends provide support in whatever ways you or they can think of. Number 4, when you're ready, reconnect with your regular routines. Number 5, there is no right or wrong way to grieve. Number 6, when you go back to work, make sure you have a safe place to hide when you have a meltdown. Number 7, it's okay to smile and laugh. Number 8, plan ahead for holidays or have several alternate plans depending on how you're feeling. Number 9, try not to make any big decisions for at least a year. Number 10, try your best not to spend a lot of time agonizing over the question of why. Number 11, know that you will always be your child's mom or dad. Number 12, many people feel guilty after the loss of a loved one to suicide. This is normal. You might think, I should have done more or done things differently, right? But taking one's life is not a rational decision. Number 13, realize your child did not take their life to hurt you. Number 14, know how to deal with inappropriate questions, like people wanting details about your child's death. Number 15, when you're ready, consider volunteering. So, I think that guilt always comes, and you always ask yourself why for the survivors. It's hard, because you want to know what happened. What were they thinking? Why did they think that was the answer? And, you know, that is so normal. All of us feel such grief when our loved ones die. There's no real answers. And there's always someone who has something to say about why. And they're not real concerned with how the words come out, what it sounds like. And I think that's the part where you just put that aside. You just put them aside and you just focus on yourself. And hopefully you have time to grieve, because not everybody has that. It's a luxury, especially here now. It's a luxury here in this area where I live anyway. People are always trying to get to the next week. And when something like that happens, it's tough. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope this helps you on your healing journey. It's tough if your family members commit suicide. But after 25 years, at least I can come now and talk about it. Because it's not something I could have done a week, 2 weeks, 6 months. I mean, it took a long time for me to be able to express myself without breaking down and crying. It was tough. I don't think it's ever really healed. It's just, it helps you that life goes on. It does help that life will go on despite the loss, and that you can get back into routine eventually. Well, as you can see, I've lost my light, so I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna take you along with me. I'm gonna do the AFSP walk. I figured, yeah, I was tired. It's been a long day, but I wanted to be able to do something a little different. It's beautiful here. You can hear so much when no one's around. And everybody's kind of gone. So, I hope this helps you on your healing journey. Follow your bliss. can be good humans. Out of darkness right there. Community walk. See it?
It's the same title as the 2010 Watchtower Safety.
Ew. I know, it's kind of creepy. I just don't really like. I'm like, no, can we? Do they all use the same game plan? I'm like, do they all kind of?
If I get a weird vibe that this is just about me,
Yeah, no.
I don't want to be a part of it.
I don't
There's
either.
so many people that
Hurting.
just grift off of other people's pain.
Right.
This is anything like that at all, we're out of here.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay?
Yep, I agree. I don't think it's right.
Wow, what?
Please take the time to visit our resource tables. Visit the walk, Haven and Hope booth for interactive art activities.
Community walk hosted by the Orange County chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Thank you so much for coming in. This is our 6th community walk in Orange County to fight suicide.